Hey guys, in this video we are going to focus on um, intersecting line segments within or around a circle. So there's three different types of intersecting segments that we're gonna look at that can happen with um, these segments around a circle. The first type is intersecting chords, which means that the segments intersect inside the circle. In this situation, this is what we call the PP situation. All right, so we call this one the PP situation. And what that means is if we look at these intersecting chords, each one of these chords is split into two parts. So we have like part A, part B, part C, and part D. All right, so we end up having these four parts that this is split into. Well, each part is one of the P's. So what this ends up becoming is, instead of just PP, it ends up becoming PP um, equals, so PP equals PP, or part times part equals part times part. So what that's going to look like then in, say, this example is A times B equals C times D. So it's kind of a ratio. It's a proportion um, that's always going to be true whenever you have these intersecting chords. So that's your part times part, or your PP situation. Your second type is when your lines intersect outside the circle. So you still have, and if you look here on type 2, they're both secants. So if you remember what a secant is, a secant intersects the chord or the circle at 2 points. All right, so both of these in type 2 or situation 2 are secant lines or line segments. And with the secant, you notice where the point of intersection is, it's outside the circle. So in this case, this is what we refer to as we, whereas a W is the length of the whole line, okay? And the E is the length of the section or the part that's outside the circle, right? So each side of your equation is referring to a different segment, okay? So in this case, in this scenario then, we're going to look at this top line. So the whole line is going to be your A plus B, okay? Then we're going to multiply that times the exterior. So the E in the we is exterior. So we're going to take the A plus B times A, and that's going to equal C plus D times the exterior part of the second line is C, okay? So that's going to be your equation for type 2. Type 3, if you notice on type 3, we have a secant and a tangent, okay? So this situation is what we call the wet situation. So if you look at the secant, it's still the same thing as we had in type 2. Still the whole line times the exterior part, okay? If you look at the green line, the A, well, that's a tangent line. So what we do with the tangent line in this case is we square it, or we multiply it times itself. All right, so we have the whole times exterior equals the tangent times the tangent, or the tangent squared. All right? So then from this situation, we would have your whole secant line, so B plus C, times the exterior portion, which is B, so that's the we part, equals your tangent times tangent. So that would be A times A, or you could just write that as A squared. Okay, so that's your PP, we, and wet situations. Okay? Um, so we're going to take a look at a couple examples in this video, then we'll split it up and we'll look at some other examples in the next video. So in this video, we're going to look at examples of PP, or type 1, okay, where your chords are intersecting inside the circle. And for all of these, that's what you're going to determine is where is your point of intersection. Is it inside the circle or is it outside the circle? Okay? So if we look at, so this first example, we have our intersection is inside the circle. So here's our point of intersection. So we can label this if we want to as, you know, part, and then part. So we know we've got to multiply the corresponding parts, okay? So if we look at this blue chord, we're going to multiply those two parts. So we would have 10 times x, or 10x, is equal to the purple parts multiplied. So you would have 14 times 15 in this case. Right, so if we multiply 14 times 15, pull up the calculator when I do this, so I would get 210. So I would get 10x equals 210, and then we're just going to solve it just like a regular equation. Divide both sides by 10, and we would get x is equal to what is that, 2.1 or 21? So 210 divided by 10, and we get 21. Okay? So then in this case, it says solve for x. Well, x is 21. Okay? So it is proportionate. All right, so let's take a look at one more example. If you notice in this one, our point of intersection is still inside the circle. So we're going to have the PP equals PP, part times part. So we're going to look at our two segments, or our two chords. So we've got the blue chord. So we're going to multiply the two parts. 4 times 5x minus 1 equals, and then we're going to multiply the two parts from this chord. So that would be 6 times 6. All right? In this case, we've got to distribute on the left side. So we're going to multiply the 4. So we're going to end up with 20x minus 4 equals 36. Okay? And then it becomes a two-step equation from that point. So we're going to subtract 4, or add 4 to both sides. So we'll end up with 20x is equal to 40. Divide both sides by 20. And we end up with x is equal to 2. Okay? Now if you notice up here, it says find BD. So it's looking for the actual length of that chord from B to D. So then we would just go back and substitute the x that we found into this part that's missing. All right, so we would have 5 times here 2, 5 times 2 minus 1. So that would give us a 10 minus 1. So this little section here would be 9. So the total length from B down to D would be your 9 plus 4 would be 13. So BD would equal 13. Okay, so don't forget, if it's asking you for the length of a particular segment, to go back and substitute your variable value back in to actually calculate and finish the problem. All right. So I don't make this video too long, I'm going to cut this one off right here. The next video will show examples of the other two types. All right. So I hope you stick around. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps um, understanding these types of problems, and click on the link to get to the next examples. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.